Hello, we are back again. Let's talk about question 2 under simple and compound interest. So question 2 is saying, if you deposit 5,000 Zambian money kwacha into an account paying 8.25% annual interest, how long would it take to have 9,350 in the account? If you deposit 5 pin, how long will it take for you to have 9,350 kwacha? Okay, so A, if the interest is compounded semi-annually, then B, if interest is calculated using simple interest. So how long will it take? Then maybe I can read for question 3 also. So question 3, they are saying interest rates are expected to be 10% for the next 3 years and then to 4 to 8% for the following 3 years. So from year 1 up to year 3, the interest rate is expected to be 10%. Okay. Then after 3 years going up, for the next 3 years, it's going to be at 8%. So we can properly see here that we are investing the money for 6 years. So the question continues by saying, how much will an investment of 3,000 be worth at the end of 6 years? How much is it going to be worth at the end of 6 years? Okay, so let's start with question 2, where we are answering if interest is compounded semi-annually, how long will it take? And for B, if interest is calculated using simple interest, how long will it take? Okay, so for the first one, for A, they are asking us how long it will take if interest is compounded semi-annually. So here we can use the formula for future value to come up with the time. Okay, so what do we know about future value or compounded amount, which is 100%? So the formula for future value, it's given by future value is equal to present value, open brackets, then we have 1 plus R over M to the power MT. So FV stands for the future value, PV stands for the present value, then R stands for the discount rate or the interest rate per year, then M stands for the number of compounding period in a single year. In short, how many times are you making payments in 1 year? That's what M stands for. Then T is just time in years. Okay, so from our question, we have seen that our future value, what we want to have in future is 9,350 and we are depositing 5 pins. So our future value, will put our 9,350 is equal to present value. How much are we depositing? We are depositing 5 pins. Okay, then we will say open brackets 1 plus what's our rate? So rate is the percentage that we have been told per year. We have been told that it's 8.25. So in terms of decimal point, it's 0.0825. Then M, it's compounded semi-annually, meaning in a year we are doing twice. Okay, so our M is 2, then to the power our M is still 2, then T we don't know, it's the one that we are trying to find. Okay, with that being said, we can try to simplify things. So we can divide here by 2, then we multiply everything. Okay, so when I divide, what I'm getting is 9,350 is equal to 5,000. Okay, so when I divide and add, it's giving me 1.04125 to the power 2t. So this is what I'm getting this side. So if I want, I can divide both sides by 5,000 so that I get rid of the 5,000. So here I divide 5 pin, even this side I divide 5 pin. So when I do that, this side, what I'm going to get, it's giving me 1.87. Then this side, this is just cancelling. I'm remaining with 1.04125 to the power 2t. Okay, so that's what I'm having. Okay, so now with that being said, since the goal here is to find t, now how can we find the value of t when the t is a power? So we need to drop this t down. So for dropping the t, we introduce what we call the logarithmic, the log. So we are going to introduce log on both sides. So here we introduce log. So it's going to be log 1.87 is equal to, even this side we introduce log. So when we introduce log this side, this power is going to drop. So it will come down as 2t. Then we have log 1.04125. Okay. So after we do that, since what we are trying to do is to come up with the value of t, so we can divide both sides by log 1. So here we divide by log 1.04125. Even here we do the same, log 1.04125. So when I divide this side, it's giving me 15.48512579 is equal to, then this side the 2t is going to remain alone. Okay, so with this said, I can divide both sides by t to come up with the value of t. Okay, so here we are dividing by 2. Even this side I do the same, I divide by 2. So my t is going to be, when I divide, it's giving me 7.74 years. Okay. So for the money to reach 9,350, if it is compounded semi-annually, it's going to take 7.74 years. Okay. Then for B, they were saying if we use simple interest, how long will it take? So what do we know about the formula for simple interest? Okay, so the formula for simple interest is straightforward. It's just I is equal to PRT. Okay, so I is equal to PRT. Okay, what does what does I stand for? The interest. P is standing for the principal, how much you deposit. R is the rate in years, the percentage. Then T, it is time in years. So R, we are saying the percentage in a year. Then T, it is time in years. So from the question, what is our interest? How can we find our interest from the question? Okay, so finding the interest here, it is simple because we know how much we are depositing and we know how much we want to expect in future. So we just say the future value minus what we deposit. That's how we are going to find our interest. So what am I saying? Finding the interest, it's just 9,350 minus what we deposited, 5 pin, is equal to our principal. We are depositing 5 pin. What's our rate? Our rate is 8.25%. So 8.25 is the same as 0.0825. Okay, then we are multiplying with time, so we don't know because we are trying to find the value of t. So when I subtract this side, it's giving me 4,350 is equal to, then here when I multiply 5 pin by this, it's giving me 412.5. then we have t. So since we are trying to find the value of t, I can divide this side by 412.5, even this side by 412.5. Okay, so when I do that, the value of t, it is giving me 10.55 years. Okay, so these are the years in time. All right, so that's about simple interest. You can practice on more questions. They are there. Yeah. Okay, then for question 3, they were saying that how much will the investment be in 6 years? If for the first 3 years we are investing at 10%, then after that it's going to fall to 8% for the next 3 years, or for the following 3 years. Okay, so how much will the interest be? So to find this one, we first have to find how much is our 3,000 going to be if we invest at 3%, I mean at 10% for the first 3 years. Then again we invest what we get after 3 years at 8%. So what am I saying? Let's find how much we are going to have at the end of 3 years when we invest at 10%. So we can find our future value by just saying future value is present value, open brackets, 1 plus r to the power t. So this is the formula for future value. Okay, so in this case we can say our present value is 3,000. This is what we are investing. We want to know how much it will be after 3 years. Then 1 plus r, so we are investing at 10%, which is the same as 0.1. Then t, we have 3 years. Okay, so it's 3,000, then 1.1 to the power 3. So when I say 1.1 to the power 3, then I multiply by 3,000, it is giving me 3,993. So this is what we are going to have at the end of the first 3 years. So from year 1 up to year 3, what we have gotten is 3,933. Then now they are saying the interest is dropping, or it's falling from 10% to 8%. So let's invest this one for the next 3 years at 8%. So we use the same formula for future value. So future value is present value, 1 plus r to the power t. What's our present value? It is now this amount because it's the one that we are investing. So we are investing 3,993. Then 1 plus our rate is the interest, which has fallen to 8%, which is the same as 0.08. Then to the power t, so it's going for 3 years also. So 3,993. Then we have 1.08 to the power 3 when I add. So 1.08 to the power 3. The answer that I get, I multiply with the 3,993. It is giving me 5,030 kwacha. So this is what we are going to have at the end of 6 years. So the first 3 years we invest at 10 pin, it gave us this. Then we get this same amount. Now what we have, we invest at 8% for 3 years. It's now giving us this. So the 3,000 in 6 years, it has gone up to 5,330 kwacha. Okay, 5,030 kwacha. Right. They are saying a certain radio station in Mufumbwe district borrowed 148,500 kwacha on May 12 with interest due on August 27. If the interest rate is 10%, find the interest on the loan using exact interest and the ordinary interest. Okay, so now for exact interest, here what we consider a year to have 365 days. If it's a leap year, then we consider a year to have 366 days. For ordinary interest, here we consider a year to have 360 days. So that's the major difference. The difference is just on time, but the way we find interest, the formula is the same. Interest is PRT, where P standing for the principal, R for the rate, T for time in years. Okay, so for A, we are finding the exact interest. So exact interest, it means you are using the actual number of days in a year. So it's 365 or 366 for a leap year. So we want to find the interest. The formula for interest is given by PRT. So where P stands for the principal, T stands for the time in years, then R stands for the interest rate. So in this case, our principal, we have been told it's 148,500. Then we are multiplying with the rate. So the rate is 10%, 0.1. Then time is supposed to be in years. But in this case, we have been told that it was from May 12 up to August 27. So we need to find the number of days that are in between May 12 going up to August 27. So how do we do that? We'll say, okay, so it started on May 12, So the first step is to say May has how many, before May finished, how many days remained. So we know that May ends with the 31 days. So we can say, okay, 31 minus the 12 days that was used in May, it's giving us 19 days. So before May finished, we had 19 days that remained from May 12. So we are trying to go up to August 27. So we need to add the days in between. So after May, it's June that follows. So June has 30 days. So we are adding 30. Then July has 31 days. Then August itself, it's going up to 27. So when we add, the total number of days that we have is 107. So now finding the interest where there is time, we'll say 107, we convert it in 2 years. So since we are using exact interest, we assume a year has 365 days. Okay, so we can punch on the calculator and see what we are going to get. So when I punch on the calculator, it's giving me 4,353.3. So this is the interest, the exact interest. Okay, then for B, they are saying find the interest using ordinary, in short the ordinary. So for ordinary, we consider a year to have 360 days. So ordinary sometimes is called bankers. So the bank or ordinary is considered to be 360 days in a year. So interest here is given by PRT. So our principal is still 148,500, but our rate is still the same, 10%. Then for time, we'll say 107 over 360, because we are assuming a year to have 360 days. So when we punch on the calculator, it's giving us 4,413.8. Okay, so about this one.